because LLMs, open source AI, agentic. We have an agentic section on this specific show. Academic research, evaluations, frontier, and voice audio, and image and media, and some miscellaneous stuff. A little bit of gossip, you can say,
That's
and
right. It's
hopefully it's gonna be a good show, even if technicalities are gonna be a little bit challenging, because that's the first time we're doing it in
exactly.
this setting. But bro is
It's gonna.
getting married, so the show must go on. We're gonna
I know.
feel it up, sure.
We've got to let him go. Let him have fun. It was crazy to see the picture of him in Denver with all the snow in
Hmm.
May getting married. So, Alex, hopefully you're not listening. You should be paying attention to your wife and doing whatever you're supposed to do there. But in case you're listening, we're going to do the best we can. We appreciate you making the show happen. I think today's show, everyone, is going to be a little different. We're going to chit chat a little bit more. We probably won't have all the fancy, AI generated screenshots, but we're gonna try to bring you the latest and greatest news. I just can't believe how much happens in 1 week. Like looking at this list, it's just bonkers.
Even weeks like this, you think that not a lot happened, then then without and then you go and like actually curate the thing, and it's 40 pages somehow. Seriously, how many pages we got today? It was 40 something pages, like
Yeah, and then
5 minutes
we
ago.
we
When
we managed to chop it down to 21 pages of notes. So there is so much going on. Well, while we wait a couple minutes for Niston and LGJ, what was your favorite item of the week? What was most interesting to you?
there is only one answer here: Anthropic, pulling a twist of event,
Mm,
somehow collaborating with XAI, which also is pulling a very unexpected move of allowing it to happen and renting a full data center.
I know.
That's not that much of an Elon thing to do, I must admit.
I
But
know.
here we
It.
are.
I know we're going to talk a lot about that. So, but yeah, all sorts of interesting things to chat about that. I would say for me, it's interesting because the thing that has affected me the most this week is actually Claude Design. I
Oh,
just,
it's
I'm just
beautiful.
using it a lot, and so I find that, I hired a designer to basically lay out the design framework and the brand, and now I'm able to pass that on to Claude Design. And basically, I'm looking at a screen here on my laptop, and I've got it's probably 55 screens laid out in one layout for a big feature. So very thankful for it. However, noticing the limits, and the API limits and the usage limits. So it's interesting to see that SpaceX, I guess it's not going to be XAI anymore. It's going to be SpaceX AI, that they're coming in to help all those tokens. So,
Really,
well,
that's officially SpaceX AI,
I
or
I saw Elon say that, so it's sort of like I think that means it's official, or maybe that was a parody account that I didn't notice was actually not Elon. But well, I think we should probably get rocking. I assume our friends are going to join us at some point. Um, should we rock and roll and kick it off?
yeah, definitely. Just let me check some technicalities. Excuse us, guys, for technicalities here and there.
Listen, we're
We're
not podcast professionals like Alex, okay? So give us a break.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
We're gonna do the
Let me
best we
just check if just to give everyone's perspective, because it's just us and the viewers here, and we're all family, so
can. Yeah.
we're letting you see behind the scenes. The thing that's happening at the moment is that we are checking the generated infographic to see if it's on the same standard as Alex's, and we can actually show it. And if not, you haven't seen anything, and we never
All
talked about
right.
it.
There we
Uh,
go.
and then we're gonna start the show.
I'm curious if Nano Banana is being used these days, or the new image.
Okay, that's
to
not bad. It's not like Alex's, but it's
throw it up
definitely
there.
not.
Let's see what
Okay,
happens.
okay. Just, it's funny. It said yeah. It said who the host is. It's let me just show you guys.
Dun, dun,
Man,
dun.
computers never work when you need them, man.
I know. It's okay. While you figure that out, I'll chit chat a little bit to the crowd. So make sure to reply to us if you're watching on X. Say hello. Tell us where you're calling in from. I'm starting to see some comments rolling from the crowd. Def Dog is here. Good to see you, Joseph Urban. Appreciate you dropping by. Avi SB7781 is dropping by and confirmed that Elon said, quote, XAI will be dissolved as a separate company. So it'll just be SpaceXAI, which is easy to say. The AI products from SpaceX. So thanks, Avi. Appreciate that. A couple more people joining from the crowd. Justin Powell, Open Design, which someone recommended is decent, I guess, as a Claude Design alternative. Leonard says, where's Alex? Alex is getting married, everybody.
Getting married. Alex is getting married. Congrats to Alex.
He literally got married yesterday, so he deserves at least one day off. And it says, Milo says Alex got acqui-hired by TBPN. That's on his bingo card.
Mark Zuckerberg poached Alex for $100 billion.
We're announcing it live here, everybody.
Anyway, want to see the
design
of ThursdAI ripoff.
Oh my god!
What do you think?
It's
not bad. It's not bad. It's but like look, reverse engineered the prompts that probably Alex is using, and that's what we got. It's not bad.
I would say that person is that some sort of mix of you and Alex. I'm disappointed by that picture.
Ask Gemini 3.1. I don't know, man. All right. So let's go through. It's actually pretty good. It's not bad. Okay.
All right. So why don't you take us through the high level? What are we going to chit chat about? Then we'll dive in.
So we have some stories today coming from big companies, LLMs and APIs. From Anthropic, establishing a joint venture between multiple different corporates all over the field. OpenAI models are now available on AWS for the first time on Bedrock. I think,
Watch out.
On Bedrock, yeah. iOS, Apple iOS is moving into kind of, if I understand correctly, if I remember, choose your own AI provider, which is a big move coming from Apple. And Anthropic is making a very surprising deal with SpaceX for SpaceX to provide compute, like renting the entire colossal GPU server farm.
Yeah, I think it's Colossus 1, because I think Colossus 2, or they're training Colossus 2 on a different set of GPUs, so it's exciting.
I never saw that coming. You want to go with open source?
So category 2, we're going to cover some open source AI stuff. Obviously, there's always a bazillion things happening. Probably the lead story in that is NVIDIA Gemma 4 26B. We're talking a little bit about that. And then following on, we've got Google Gemma's 4 MTP. Some interesting innovation there. DeepSeek V4 Pro, we're going to cover as well. And then QuenScope SAEs. And then we're going to move on to Nematron 3 Nano Omni. So that is the open source section we'll be covering later. Back to you.
All right. So agentic. We're going to go and look into GitHub is launching an MCP server for scanning secrets automatically. You know that when you push code to GitHub with secrets in it, it automatically destroys your secret. Like automatically, like your key to OpenAI is revoked, and now you're tasked with going and making a new one automatically. So now you have access to this yourself through an MCP. I mean, not you, your agent has access
Yeah.
to this through an MCP. Um, I need to check. I think Nano Banana hallucinated a little bit because I'm not sure that's exactly the actual title. We're gonna go through it in a moment, technicalities. And Copilot Kit is, I think, raising to $27 million.
Maybe. Could be
Maybe.
22, could be 21. We'll
Yeah,
we'll find
and
out.
yeah, we'll find out in a moment. And better that we actually use the show notes, I think, at the
Yep.
same time. So, okay, that's the problem. Anyway, in highlights, we're gonna go through agentic news, evaluations, research, frontier models, and then this the section that we go through every week: voice, video, audio, media, and images, and a little
Love
bit
it.
of miscellaneous gossip because
Because
it's a little bit of a
there's
different
always
show
some
today.
gossip. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a little bit gossip to go through. Um,
Well, let's
let's get
dive
it
in.
started. Yeah, let's get it started. I'm gonna try and pull up
The screenshot.
the media, um,
Ooh.
which is where is the big call and
Somewhere.
oh, okay, I got the opening for ThursdAI. Are we gonna do it now after the TLDR?
Let's do it now. Sure. Why not?
All right, we all know what we're doing. That was planned. Look.
Wow. That was fancy. I loved it.
All
Um,
right. All right. So let's start with I think you want to take this one?
yeah,
Grok
sure.
4.3
Let's
is
talk about it.
launching on
So,
the API.
and also we can see you all commenting on both YouTube and X. So keep the comments coming in. We're seeing Ryan Boyle say, "What's up, guys?" Wants us to chat about GPT 5.5, which we will definitely do.
Oh yeah.
Milos is saying we look ThursdAI, which is good. And then Avi's talking a little bit about Copilot. Interestingly, from Techstars 2023, which is a startup building an open standard, they raised 27 million. And then we've got SixPass, who's calling in from Sweden. So if you're commenting, tell us where you're calling in from. Tell us the item of news this week you're most excited about. We'll call you out on the show as we go. So, okay, the first big news item in the big co's, LLMs, and APIs is this. So XAI launched Grok 4.3 on the API, so you can actually use this thing through the API. This actually was dropped pretty quietly, and the pricing undercuts the field by nearly 60%. So super affordable. A couple things that are new. So 1 million token context. It's got 30K max output. Tool use and structured output are supported. It's $1.25 in and 250 out per million. So that's a 37.5% cut on input and a 58% cut in output. So super affordable. That's compared to Grok 420. Looks like batch API discount is 50% off. And then tool calls priced separately, which is kind of interesting. I, you know, I don't use any Grok models for anything other than on X when I'm chatting to Grok. And I'd like that to change. I would really love Grok to become a serious, competitor to Opus or GPT in my production environment. So what do you think about this? Are you using any of these
The-
Grok models?
I
Tell me more.
think the question is, look, I'm not using Grok models on daily basis, but I think the question is, how good is Grok 4.3? Because it's all at the end of the day, those things are all value for money. Like you get performance, and you need to pay per token, and it's the most capitalistic entity in the world. You just measure it by how much you pay and what number you get back
Yes,
in terms of performance. Like it's all numbers. You have
that's
that
it.
cost effectiveness. Yeah. Is it good? What I actually never, I don't think I ever tested for 4.3 directly. I did
I didn't
try
either.
420, but we have
See,
access to it through the X interface. Maybe we can just try, you know?
yeah, but this is the problem is that you have limited time. And so, if I'm shipping, features and I'm already happy with Opus 4.6 or Opus 4.7 or GPT 5.5, like am I going to spend at least day, maybe 2 days of work to benchmark a model that I have no idea how it's going to perform, just because it's cheaper. And I think unfortunately there's just a huge opportunity cost on trying new models. So
For
the answer
sure.
is no, I've not tried it and I don't know many people that have.
Look, okay, this is because we were talking about API for sure. So for sure, yeah, you're talking about integrating it into a product. Absolutely, it's gonna it's gonna take a little bit of a transition time. But trying it by yourself, is it good? Did you try it? Did anyone in the audience try it? What do you guys think
Let us
about
know.
Grok? Yeah, yeah, for sure. About specifically Grok 4.3.
4.3.
Yeah,
So
it's
Avi is saying from the YouTube comments, Grok 4.3 is in 7th place in artificial analysis intelligence index, which is
mhm.
interesting. I'm starting to trust the artificial analysis intelligence index. So, but I think, and then we'll move on after this, I think, but it's like, I'm pretty much going to usually be interested in frontier intelligence. Like for most of what I do, I just want the smartest model I possibly can get. I'm willing to pay for it. And I think just a lot of people are in that spot. So we'll see how it goes. Let's jump to the next story. Over to you.
All right. So just one moment.
Anthropics.
You know that you have the tab open, and then you go to the tab, and there are like ads like on top of the actual story. That's pretty much what's happening. Okay, so Anthropic is real. We know what we're doing. Yeah, Anthropic is building a new enterprise AI services company with Blackstone, Hellman and Friedman, and Goldman Sachs.
A lot of fancy names in there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's see what this company is about. Which is, I must say, not easy to understand.
So it looks like they're basically moving up the stack from selling just model, right, to actually selling implementation. So this is basically, hey, we're actually going to work with these companies. I assume they're going to pay Anthropic $1.5 billion to implement the use of their models, which makes sense. Like I feel like this is where all the money is to be made, is basically on
Mm,
doing consultancy.
but it's a complete destruction. I must say, I mean, the focus of the company is completely different.
Yeah,
To the best of my knowledge, you have a pretty successful product. You are one of the most successful startups in
right.
human history.
So I wonder why they're doing
Why
this.
would you go for services? I mean,
I mean, maybe just
for the
because there's
money,
so
yeah,
much.
it's a lot
Yeah,
of it's money, yeah, but
money. I mean, so we keep hearing about this, right? Like this apparent sort of panic around actual capital. Like the amount of you're always hearing. It sounds like they're joking, but they're not. Where Dario sort of says, "Well, we could go bankrupt." Like there's so much capital requirement to run, these GPUs. Maybe this is just like, hey, we want $1.5 billion of just cold hard cash as revenue. Don't know. So
that simple.
I don't know. No, everything in real life is way more complex, right?
All right, so speaking of, it's it's hard
Complex.
to run this model. Speaking of which,
Ooh.
Speaking of using GPUs and how many GPUs it requires to run these models, a, a twist in the plot twist from Anthropic
Tell the crowd about
is,
this. What's happening? This is exciting.
oh yeah, Anthropic is apparently collaborating, making a deal with SpaceX AI. That's not a mistake. That's the exact quote. Yeah, I'm as confused as you exactly, but what you all think.
Yep.
Apparently, uh, in a twist of events, Anthropic is collaborating and partnering with SpaceX to rent the entire huge GPU farm they own.
Mm.
And now we have higher usage limits,
Yep.
doubling Cloud Code's 5-hour rate limits for Pro Max, Team, and Seatbelt Enterprise plans.
Yeah. This is
Okay,
exciting.
that's a lot to unpack.
I think so. So apparently they're using the Colossus One infrastructure, and I remember hearing Elon say because they're already using Colossus Two to train their new models, so it's almost like they don't need it. So I think the compute was literally sitting around, and I'd love to know actually how much compute is here. I'm not sure if it's in the article, but this kind of to me reveals how real the shortage is on compute. Like we hear about it and it's like, yeah, I can imagine that compute is actually becoming pretty scarce, and I can see we're all like inference hungry. So but this reveals like, oh my god, literally as soon as they do this deal they can turn on extra compute and inference for all of us. It's
That's
wild.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
wild that they make a deal and it directly influence my rate limits. I didn't see that coming. Like
No.
Elon is making a deal with Daria. That's strange on its own. And now my
Yeah.
rate limits man, everything is random. Everything, like,
So
reality is on shuffle. The
it
most,
does.
I
So
think the interesting thing to note here is that Colossus One is from is like a year old, like a year and a half old.
mm,
Colossus 2, yeah, it's state of the art, cutting edge from, I'm not entirely sure when did it become active, but Colossus 1 is just a year and a half old.
yeah,
That's how fast these things are depreciating. I mean,
yeah,
and
that's
it's
crazy.
already laying around. It's and I don't know. I must say that when I talk about this, numbers, do they make sense to you? I mean, Grok is running on all over X. That's a lot of compute on its own. You don't need a chat app to do that.
Right.
Just people tagging Grok on
Grok.
X. Yeah.
It
How
seems like
can
a
you
lot of
have
usage.
yeah, how can you have compute lying around? Something, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
Oh,
how to take
this is
this.
interesting. Yeah. So Avi, we need to get you on the show. You're very helpful. Thank you. So on YouTube, he says XAI from the XAI blog, Colossus One has 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs, including dense deployments of H100, H200, and next gen GB200. So that's a lot of compute. 220,000
Where
GPUs.
That's
Wow.
okay. Look, I think what we reported on is not accurate at all. That's not an aging compute farm at all. It had like GB200s.
So
I mean,
but here's what I think is going on. I think nobody is using Grok models. I think they just don't need the inference, right? So it seems like, and this is all like armchair, commentary here, and I understand the people on the ground are doing real hard work here, but it seems like Elon set up a huge compute uh, network, and unfortunately, Grok just isn't getting used. Like, I mean, none of us know anybody that's using Grok to do real things, and so I think
mm,
I think you just have Colossus One kind of sitting around, and so it's almost a match made in heaven, right? And this is maybe why XAI did the deal with Cursor. Like, think about it for a second. Like, they need compute, right, to potentially train their own models to get off of, Anthropic stack and OpenAI stack. So maybe Elon's just like, holy crap, we have a lot of compute. How can we put it to work? Boom, get a bunch of revenue from Anthropic.
Yeah, but everyone is deviating from, like, look, everyone is deviating from their focus. Like, Anthropic all of a sudden is a service company, and Elon is now a compute provider. Like,
Hey,
wait,
whatever works.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Things are getting weird. I
It is
think
weird.
I don't want to be too black pilled here, but I think it goes to show that compute is the moat. Like, compute
Yeah.
is all you need. Like, that's pretty much the thing that runs the industry. If you see companies like one of the most successful ones, all of a sudden offering services and sourcing compute from another frontier lab that is direct competitor to them.
It's weird. We'll see. Well, let's keep going.
We really need to start to ramp up the production of these lithographic machines, just to fabricate more
well, and
compute.
this is why Terafab is so important. And obviously this is not financial advice, but it's like, gosh, it feels like the IPO of the century is SpaceX, because when that happens, like, someone who actually has the willpower to build a fab, right? Because I worked at Intel for like a year and a half, and I have some understanding of like how hard silicon actually is.
Crazy
And
hard.
but I believe, like, if there's anyone that has the will, to figure it out, it's Elon, and therefore he'll, create a terawatt of compute potentially, put it in space, like, and then all of a sudden you go, I believe it. The last thing I'll say is, like, all of us we're so hungry for inference. Like, all of us are hitting these limits, right? And we're actually, we talked about this before we started recording. I'm using Devon now. I'm using anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 of credits per month on Devon now, and it's easily worth the money. Like, so all the spending is going into, inference. Like, and all of us are happy to pay it. So we need more silicon. So
Say hello to Nistan, coming in to
hey,
rescue the situation. How are you
Guys,
doing?
the agents kept me up till 4 a.m. and
What
I
are
was
you-
having a dream that Alex was like mad at me or something, and that it was 11:41 a.m. I woke up and it was 11:53.
See, you
Guys,
you
this is
knew it was
not
true.
staged. This is not staged.
No, this is not.
I can hear it in your voice. You can tell
Yeah.
you've been late night agent. You've been flirting with the agents way too late.
At least the
Guys,
laptop didn't crack while
the
in
AI psychosis is hitting everyone hard.
It is. You know what we didn't
So
do?
hard.
Yeah, we forgot is to actually introduce ourselves. So why don't you go first, and then Nistan, and I'll go last.
Just setting up the light. One moment.
It's just making sure you look great.
Yeah. I don't look great, but okay. Anyway, hi everyone, and thank you very much for coming to the show, weekly show about your latest and greatest AI news every single week. AI never sleep, and apparently so do we, because AI never sleep. I'm Jan, your host for today, filling in for Alex, the main host of the show, because bro is getting married. Congrats to Alex, our friend Alex, who is doing a much better job than all of us, dealing with the technicalities of live streaming 2 hours every single week. And that thing is hard, I'm telling you. With me, my co-host, that can present themselves.
Nistan, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Nistan Tahirai. I work on OpenDoctor.ca, so I work on digital twin stuff to use open source models to put together both 2D and 3D info. So I'll be You'll see more of that later on. And I've been around the community a lot, doing a lot of AI stuff, from
Doing the
just
stuff.
writing optimizers to training models. And
Niston
Yeah.
is pretty hardcore, y'all. So if you want some deep technical analysis, Niston is your man. But let's see if you can stay awake today.
I get very annoyed at people over technical stuff on the internet, and sometimes get a little bit too fired up, but it's good for the views. So
That's right. Start
Yes.
yelling at X. Well, good to have you here. Hey, everybody, I'm Ryan. I've been a founder CEO for like 25 years, started off in computer science, and now back to building. I'm a full stack engineer again, starting a new company. And here trying to hold down the fort while Alex does something slightly important, like getting married. So Yam and I are going to try to guide you through the show. It's not going to be pretty, everybody, but hopefully it will be interesting. Keep your comments coming in on YouTube and X. We can see them, and we'll shout them out. For instance, Crazy Tom says XAI $50 billion fab investment is less than entry level. ASML CapEx alone will swallow that. Interesting. So yeah, ASML is pretty expensive. We understand that. All right. By the way, Niston needs to say more on EAC pushback from vested interests in the medical and healthcare sector. Just keep that in your pocket.
Yeah, I also want to say we don't have a good agent to recommend to everyone for getting married, but AGI for arranged marriages, that should be a thing that someone works on. So
startup idea.
Yeah,
for
someone
free.
from the audience can do that.
All right, Yam, take it away. What should we talk about next?
All right. Next on the show, we can go to
Might as well just pick a story that looks interesting to you. That's what I say.
okay, let's go with the Apple one. I can just find it. One moment. Yeah. It's
one of your
it's
35 tabs.
One moment. All right. So
why don't you, while you find it, I'll read the headline. How about that?
Okay, sure.
All right, everybody. So Apple may turn iOS 27, because we need another iOS, into a quote, choose your own model platform. So it seems like future iPhone could actually let you choose your AI provider. TechCrunch is talking about this, which is citing Bloomberg. And they're exploring model choice in iOS 27. The Verge reports Apple agreed to a $250 million settlement tied to undelivered AI Siri features. Sorry, it's hard not to laugh when you say Siri. And I guess why it matters here is that if Apple ends up exposing model choice at the OS level, ordinary phone users might pick AI providers casually. So I'm really hoping this happens. Yam, what do you think about this?
I think, and I said this a million times, that Apple Intelligence is the best product that could ever exist if its model that powering it would have been better.
Amen.
It's absolutely great. They have the best distribution. Like everyone in the world have this. It's
and they've got good hardware.
Oh yeah, with the click of a button, you just get the thing. It's integrated everywhere. Anyone that didn't try it should try it. You just I don't know, you just select the text and you can edit it on the spot, all over your phone, wherever it is. It's crazy. It's like the first OS level integration of AI that is done well. But the thing is that the model itself is just not good enough. Like
it's total dog shit.
Yeah, you just I don't know, you just select the thing and you say, I don't know, maybe even just shorter, longer, and it doesn't do it right. Many times it's just refuse to.
So I have an example of this. Like, this is the most ridiculously stupid thing that Apple Siri should be able to do. So I said, "Hey Siri, add."
Ryan, we can't get you well. We don't get you well.
What's that?
All right, so we have some connection issues with Ryan.
Ah,
Am I coming in
No,
well? Or
you're both fine to me. So I hear it both. I
okay.
have
I think I'm fine.
DJ
Listen.
ears. Yeah, I hear
Okay.
two voices. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, while we wait for your connection to clean up, I'll keep going. So basically, I said to Apple, I said add some puff paste for my hair to the groceries list, and it said sure, I'll add some poo paste to your groceries list. It's like, I feel like a 2 billion parameter model would know that that was just dumb. Like, how hard is this? So, Niston, what do you think about being able to choose your own LLM here on your Apple device?
So I think this might be something from the new CEO, John Ternus. He seems to be like a much more practical hardware person. That's what I'm guessing. I've gone both ways. I've criticized Apple a lot and showed that stuff, but I've also worked myself a lot on mobile inference and a paper on on-device medical AI. And I do have to say that yes, it's a multi-trillion-dollar company, but this stuff is pretty hard to do at scale. And
Fair.
the phone heats up, and you have to make something that's even smaller than 2 billion parameters. You have to go to like 1 billion. And even then, to get a consistent performance across is still pretty hard.
Okay. So it's harder than I think.
Yeah. Like you can make a demo and it can be pretty excellent and impress people, but to actually deploy that at scale to everyone and have consistency in that service, that's very difficult.
Okay.
So
Got it.
this is the part where I feel like they have finally admitted that they don't have like competitive expertise in-house to make a very tiny model that's also very consistent.
Yeah.
And they've just finally admitted it, thrown in the towel. And honestly, this is an excellent decision because now for them, they can just see which company makes a better LLM and which makes a better experience. And then they can just acquire them. So I think I think that is Apple's play over here.
Wow.
I guess they try to switch to Gemini, but Gemini tends to answer a lot in point form executive summary type of things, and that does annoy a group of people. And I am one of them. I do not like the Gemini style at all.
Not a fan.
Yeah, not a fan of the style of response because it's always the same cookie cutter executive summary. It looks like a LinkedIn post every time it responds. And so how do you make that like a personalized, nice experience that everyone likes? Because again, it's Apple. Everyone has to like it. Almost
Fair.
everyone.
Right.
They
so
cannot,
you can't have Gemini speak, and you can't have,
Yeah, you can't have something that 20% of the people don't like at all. Like it's so to have something that's up to their standard, where it's going to be 99 or whatever it is, whatever the number is on their end, is pretty difficult. So I think this is quite a smart decision from them. It is disappointing and very strange considering how that they can afford to get everyone.
Right.
But yeah,
There we go.
that's where we're at. I think they're going to just look at whomever makes the best experience and just start to acquire from that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're back. Can you hear us okay?
yeah, so back.
Hooray.
All
Okay, good.
right. Back to the show. Everything is
Let's-
planned, guys. We know what we're doing. No problem.
It's going.
All right. So
going fine.
yeah. All right. So Nistan, you got anything to say about? We're going back to this topic just to get your comment on Anthropic collaborating with SpaceX. We're gonna ask anyone that comes. about this? What do you think? Quick take, if you have anything.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do? Use Grok to do the most complicated things? I mean, we have tried it. Every demo we do is at least every question that I give it, that's a very difficult multi-step question to try and one-shot test a model. It's usually Claude that comes up on top. It's better than Quen, even better than ChatGPT. But Elon doesn't like Sam Altman, so he's not going to use that anyway. So they kind of don't have a choice here, especially given that. Yeah.
Especially doesn't like Sam Altman, that's for sure. It's gonna be we're gonna have a little bit more of that in the gossip section on the show today later on.
Yeah.
So let's move on. We have a lot to cover, and we're already nearly in an hour, like 44 minutes.
Let's do it.
Starting to understand why we never make it through the entire thing. I'm starting to understand it. Okay, so I think B Corp and AI, we got everything. Oh, actually not. Very important announcement from AWS. I try to find the announcement itself to show you, but ChatGPT, GPT-5, and OpenAI models in general are now available on AWS on Bedrock for the first time ever. Anthropic models were already available there for quite a while. And that's the first time you can also use OpenAI's models as well. Here, I'll show you.
I presume
open.
I presume that's because Microsoft and OpenAI obviously had some sort of exclusive agreement where it could only be offered on Azure initially, probably, right?
Yeah, probably. It probably has something to do with this. That's actually a great thing, in my opinion. You can be the best model trainer ever, model creator, developer, researcher. You can say whatever, you can call it however you want, but it's a completely different thing to serve it. And we see, I don't wanna talk anyone down, but we see some issues with the availability of some famous models. There are companies that specialize in exactly this, like AWS Web Services. So that's a really good. It's really good to have an alternative, and also you can. I was there at their office yesterday, so I know the pitch. Basically, you can specify the entire network structure all around AWS just through communication, and network will not leave the AWS network.
Oh, interesting.
At all.
So it's faster.
Also, it's faster, and also for compliance. If this is something that you must, if you have some requirements for something like this to happen, maybe you need to, I don't know, not deliver data out of the US or something, something of this sort. That's the solution for you, and you could just construct everything to be to your liking and to your needs. It's a better way to say, to your needs on AWS. And that's great, in my opinion. That's just great to have these models served.
Quick question for you guys: like, where are you doing your inference? So most of my inference for my product actually happens on Vercel's AI Gateway. So that's where I serve all of my production inference from. Where are you doing your inference at the moment? Is it Bedrock or somewhere else?
Just you talk about the actual backend, front end.
Yeah,
I don't think it's actually relevant. Mostly Vercel, but it's not relevant in my opinion, because I think the question that you're interested in is I just talk directly to the big providers through an API key, and that's
same
the way it is.
Nissim, where are you, like, which inference provider are you tending to use?
So I did use AWS Bedrock over the last year for a good portion of the year. I don't use them anymore, but that was also because I had a whole bunch of AWS credits. I have to say that most organizations that make money, they do rely on AWS a lot, because in the previous world before AI, we had something called like uptime, and you had to get SLAs, service level agreements.
Yeah.
Those things do still exist. There is critical infrastructure out there that needs to have uptime and needs to have some kind of competent organization behind it. And doing that through now Google's cloud, Google Cloud, GCP has very good uptime, but it's a complete pain to use, and nobody wants to suffer through it unless you're already locked in and have been for years.
Got it.
So yeah, this makes perfect sense. They had to get the model in there. Also, AWS makes their own chips, the Inferentia and Trainium. They've had issues and a lot of rumors and stuff we're not supposed to know around those chips, but they do make them. They do put them at scale. And if you do look at Claude's status and uptime status over the years, or where they do serve their inference from, it's usually been AWS that has had the highest availability. So this makes perfect sense for OpenAI to do it. And organizations they have all their databases in, like anything that makes money, like insurance or I don't know, co-packaging, shopping malls, they run on AWS. So if they're gonna do it, you're already plugged in. You have AWS WAF, Web Application Firewall, for all of your security needs. They don't get hacked. Like, they're very competent at that. They've become less competent lately, but they're still, I would say, the best large-scale provider of hosting. So this is a no-brainer. They should have gotten that in.
Yeah. That's exciting. Well, let's keep cranking. Yeah, what story should we tackle next?
All right. I think the last story that we have from big companies and APIs, Claude, Anthropic is launching. Is launching Dreaming, which is another feature copied from OpenClaw, to say the least. Basically, in two sense, the thing is that you have your agents and they record memory, and everything is a fancy word today for an MD file at the end. Like, memory is an MD file, context is an MD file, and you manipulate them and in the background, and it creates the illusion that the model remembers what you want. The thing is that if you could take all these memories in the back, do some reasoning on them, and mush them together and understand, just try to understand things from all of them combined, or many of them, you can pre-compute interesting insights that requires a little bit of reasoning and thinking in the background, and then provide even better answers to the user. That's pretty much what Dreaming is about. Let the model dream in the background, do its thing, and then the next session, the memories it's going to fetch are just going to be baked,
baked in.
You can see.
And for everybody watching the show, the way this works is essentially it's a cron job, right? That then looks back at previous threads and says, like, what do we learn here? Is there any insights that we should store? And like you said, it's popping these things in a markdown file, so it's not complex. We're not talking about RAG or anything like that. And this is in a research preview, so it's not generally available yet. But the idea is you could also trigger these on webhooks. Where you could say, I want my, managed agent to start dreaming whenever this happens. But all it really is like, look at previous threads and derive learnings from them and store those learnings. And my take is that this model of memory is probably going to continue to roll out across, the other platforms. Like you said, Codex already does this, and it's in OpenClaw. And now we're seeing it in Anthropic. I assume Gemini is going to be coming up with this as a managed a way to tackle memory. And then the other news that came out here is outcomes. And again, everyone's copying each other. So there is /goals or goal in Codex, which is basically a Ralph loop. So you have this idea of, okay, here's a prompt, here's a rubric to know if you are successful. Go loop until it's done. So Codex already does this, and now Claude does through this outcomes model. Apparently the limit, and I learned this from Clairvaux, who's amazing and keeps us all up to date. Outcomes is a 20 loop max. So you let Claude loop for 20 times to try to reach a rubric. But and I'll say, and then I want to hear Neaston's take on this. Like, for me, I can't wait to use this model of looping towards an outcome for things like, okay, I have an agent that needs to be really good at this certain thing. So I want to create a rubric of a way that I want it to improve, and then I want to run this loop. And you could do it every night. So you could essentially have this self-improving loop happening, through this operating manner of an outcome. So, Niston, do you think are you already using this kind of Ralph loop concept in your day-to-day engineering? Are you using goal? Do you think you're going to use outcome, or no?
Yes, like a lot of people in the AI sphere, I also wrote my own harness. I want to read first. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. I'm reading through their Cloud API docs, which is a very good site now. And I just want to read the first 2 paragraphs because there's something very interesting here that I also do not like.
Okay.
Okay, so it says, agents write to their memory stores as they work, but these writes are local and incremental. Over many sessions, a memory store accumulates, duplicates, contradictions, and stale entries. A memory store duplicates, contradictions, and stale entries. Dreams let Claude clean that up. A dream reads an existing memory store alongside past session transcripts, then produces a new reorganized memory store. Duplicates merged, stale or contradicted entries replaced with the latest value, and new insights surfaced. The input store is never modified, so you can review the output and discard it if you don't like the result.
Where did you see this? Where did you see this?
I went in their docs site, so I will share that in the chat. And
let's open that.
This is very interesting to me. So up until now, if you wanted to do this on your own, what you'd have to do, and what some people do, is you go in your .claude folder, whether it's on your Mac or your Linux machine, or I don't know where it is on Windows, but it's there. And you have a projects folder. And we got very annoyed a few shows ago that Anthropic, by default, had just started deleting your logs, your past logs, if they were over a month old. And you had to set up in your .claude settings.json file a timer with like 999 days or something, so that they would not delete your past sessions.
Oh my gosh.
So now the only way for you to sync between multiple machines was you had to dump all of your sessions. And some of them can be hundreds of megabytes. Like if you've been working on the same Claude code over and over and over, it can add up to a few hundred megabytes. Those logs get pretty long because they're the complete log dumps. And then you could put those on another server and then have some kind of searching through that. So you can search through those JSON line files. And this is all of your past history. And it was messy. So I don't think anyone else, I don't know of anyone else that really tried to organize it. I mean, aside from the Hermes and Open Claude loops or something that people set up. So this was very much missing, and it is a feature that they needed. So that's going to be a good thing for most people. The reason that they're launching it as a research preview is because it is still likely to cut off information that you did need from the past, it might make a decision on what was important and what was not important that you don't like. So they are rolling it out like this for that reason.
To figure out the bugs.
I'm guessing again, and the other thing is the part that I don't like is they're starting to move off a thing where you don't have control over your chat logs.
Yeah.
Because also they don't want people to train on them. At the same time, there's not a whole lot they can do because for compliance reasons, you have to provide the full logs. So they're kind of doing this nice thing on one end, but also taking away control from you. But yeah, that's where I stand on it.
It's interesting because we're starting to see these primitives be replicated across all the labs, right? So this kind of idea of a Ralph loop, okay, it's called goal and Codex, it's called outcomes and Anthropic, it's probably going to be called something in Gemini, probably going to be called that in Grok. And then you have this dreaming idea of basically cleaning up your memories, on a cron. And we're starting to see that replicate. And I think these are good to see the primitives be replicated across providers, right? Because you don't really want to be locked into any one lab at the moment. If
Ladies
possible.
and gentlemen, that's the person that got it popularized. The entire concept of Ralph Loop came from this person's GitHub account. If you don't know that, I just want to say I learned a lot. I mean, it's a very simplistic implementation, the thing that you uploaded, but I learned a lot from the simplicity of it and how well it worked. So it got me thinking. How I see it, I think that the idea of like splitting everything to small chunks because context is limited in those agents is absolutely brilliant, and using and resetting the context between each task is great.
Yeah.
And you just
you'll use it.
Because it's such a simple concept. You can get so much. I mean, those that haven't tried this and just think, oh, Ralph Loop is just an infinite loop of agents, just go give it something that you care about on a real code base and come back in an hour. You would be surprised. Seriously.
So I think that what's powerful here is obviously we saw the idea of auto research come out, right? Where I feel like, geez, my dad brain is breaking. Why am I blanking on one of the most famous AI researchers in the world, his name, who did auto research?
All right, so auto research.
There were a few. Andre Karpathy.
Karpathy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So So Karpathy was talking about obviously auto research, right? This idea of a self-improving loop, which we all understand is like, it's what Ralph is, right? But what's so good is to see these things get codified into the agent harnesses, right? So you don't have to go build your own Ralph loop harness or your own auto research harness. Now you can, if you're in Codex, you just use /goal. Or if you are in now Claude, you use this idea of outcomes. And this is going to be so powerful for all of us building, because you have these rubrics that you want to improve on. And you could literally run essentially an auto research loop every night on the most important things in your business, because it's being codified, and shipped in these harnesses. So I think this is a cool thing.
Okay, so just to wrap things up, we are currently talking about the fact that Codex launched goals, and Anthropic just launched what was the name?
Outcomes.
Outcomes, which is basically the same thing.
Same thing.
You tell a model what you want, and if the thing that you asked for is not solved, it will simply run it again. As simple as that. And it's that simple concept, because those models really try to get things to where you want. So it's just the thing that validates it for you. Just go again and again and again. I've seen an interesting question on X. How is it different from just running Codex itself? You said that Codex is a long-running agent that should just get whatever you want. That's a
I
good
think
question. Like, where is the boundary?
so. So the difference is there's not auto compaction, right?
Mhm.
So I think so, and I think auto compaction now is becoming standard. Like when I think we're quickly moving on. Oh, cool, LDJ's here. So I think now when a lot of us are using coding agents, whether it's Claude, Devin, Codex, AMP just shipped a new version of AMP with this. Auto compaction is now the default. Like you are now no longer required to manage your context as actively or really at all, which is a huge, I think, productivity unlock. Because let's face it, it sucks managing your context window. So you see auto compact. Now, the reason why goal or outcome is different is because it's going to aggressively manage that context window by looping. And that is going to be better, right? Auto compaction is not ideal. So I would say it's basically a managed
The thing is
scenario.
that also it's not just auto compaction. You got 1 million context models like as a standard. Like Claude Code is out of the box, 1 million tokens of context just out of the box. And you can argue whether or not it's the same. It's the same Claude with 1 million in its context and the same Claude up front.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, I mean, it's just out of the box. That's the standard. So we are going. And by the way, I also saw Anthropic teasing about an infinite context.
Infinite.
Just
Infinite.
yeah.
Yeah, in Magic Land. So, but I want to say hi to LGJ real quick. So
Yeah.
we got
Hi, LDJ.
one of our amazing co-hosts, LDJ. Why don't you say hi?
Hello.
Intro
Yeah.
yourself, and then tell us like what is your news item of the week? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I guess a quick intro. I previously worked on audio AI about 6 years ago at a company called TTS Labs I co-founded, and then later I was on the founding team of News Research working on LLMs, and now I'm mainly doing some consulting, advising, and podcast hosting like with ThursdAI.
Bada bing. So
Let's
what news are
go.
you excited about this week?
There's so, I mean, like every week there's kind of so much, but it's kind of confusing and interesting the direction that really what the title of the spaces is, which is Anthropic and XAI. And it seems like out of the companies that would partner with each other, it seems like the most unlikely partnership. But then at the same time, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, explain. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Okay, kind of makes sense in the sense that, of course, XAI has a ton of compute. They seem to be really good at building out a lot of compute. And Anthropic was kind of, it seems like they were underinvesting or kind of trying to hedge for the case of, hey, maybe we might not need that much compute. And now they are realizing that they are going to need a lot. And very soon they need a lot ASAP. So from that standpoint, it does kind of make sense that one of the most prolific compute infrastructure builders, which is arguably XAI here, is partnering with them in that case.
Bro, that's look.
Yeah.
The story is that they had they sourced a lot of compute, like acquired a lot of GPU, like more than 200,000, set up a compute server farm, compute center, you can say. You can call it, not call it a data center at the moment because it's not data anymore. It's compute center. Let's call it like that. And then a year later, they got a new one, another one, state of the art. By the way, the previous one still had GB200s already. I mean, that's not aging hardware. And then they got a new one, and the previous one they just sourced it away, like just rent it away to somebody else. That's pretty odd.
It is
Especially,
wild.
yeah.
Niston, Niston, you have some information here? Share it. Usage?
Yeah, just really quickly, one more point of this. There was some report or rumor, I don't know how true it was, that most companies were only doing like 40 or 50% total usage on their GPU. I can see that there's a lot of downtime. The good ones, even if you're very good, you're only going to get about 80% or so. And I think for XAI, it was only about 10% because what are they going to do? How many people are going to be making videos with Grok? LTJ?
Yeah, there was some kind of like circular and misreporting there. It seems like the original sources that were reporting that information were specifically talking about MFU, that as in like the actual flops utilization during training. So not necessarily that only a percentage of the GPUs are being used at a given moment, but more so how many total flops out of the peak flops for each GPU are being used in training. And yeah, like the typical, I mean, it really depends at the scale you're running and whether you're factoring RL and all these other things, but it's not too abnormal to have like between 20 to 40%. And yeah, it was reported that their MFU at SpaceX, or sorry, I mean SpaceX AI, whatever we're calling it now,
SpaceX AI.
is about
Yeah.
11% MFU. Yeah.
Crazy. By the way,
Crazy.
everyone who's watching the stream has probably seen this happen live, but it's cool. Yam's background is getting dark as he speak, as the sun goes down in Tel Aviv. So it's beautiful. I'm gonna read a couple. It is cool. I'm gonna read a couple comments from the crowd. By the way, I should have been watching the comments because they reminded me Karpathy's name at the time. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. So Avis is saying that Arena announced multimodal Max on May 5th. Its routing distributions mentioned in the blog are interesting. And then Praxis says, I saw a comment somewhere this week that said that XAI were having problems with their compute, using their compute, which I think we all now believe. Like, I just don't think the utilization was there.
Yeah, it was a very low number, like 10%, if I recall.
Yeah, very small. Well, let's keep cranking. We've got a couple. I think we can get through some more news stories.
Yeah, I did.
I have to go.
I did want to go through this Ralph Loop stuff because about a year ago, I think it was exactly a year ago, ended up on a random Google Meet group call with Jeffrey Huntley, and it was a show and tell about agent orchestration, and some of us were showing like running 10 agents or 20 agents at the same time, or firing up a whole bunch of Mistral instances and how you do the caching and so on. And in comes Jeffrey, and he just runs 500 of them. And
500.
Yeah, and we thought we saw AGI at that point. It was just so shocking at the time that none of us wanted to even tell anybody else around it. So that's why it took another like 5 months for the Ralph Loop to come out. Because and the funny thing is, he was working as a software developer before, and he was just living out of a camper van in Australia, and he was streaming of using just Sonnet 3.7 and Gemini 2.0, and that's how the entire Ralph Loop got built.
I love
and the entire demo of it was that he just gave it a very badly transcribed through Whisper Small prompt, and then the whole thing was, hey, just make a specification file, and then make an implementation plan for this thing, and then just pick the topmost point from the implementation plan that you should work on, and just work on that until you feel like the whole thing is done, and then clean up. So this very, very, very simple prompt. And then he asked it to just make the language, which was cursed. He just create a new programming language. That was it. So it was very minimalistic, but also very profound in how it took advantage of the smart zone of the model. So the beginning of the context, like the first 60 to 100K, because Sonnet 3.7, that was even more pronounced. And by just having it always pick one thing to do, and just do that, and then start off again. This was the whole idea, where you have Ralph Wiggums from The Simpsons, who doesn't know what he's doing, but as long as he just keeps hammering at the wall over and over again, eventually Ralph gets through. Yep. So this was it was
basically the beginning of auto research, and I think Jeff deserves a lot of credit for that simple but an innovative idea. So I'm going to keep us moving. There's two stories that I want to touch on, I think, especially because we've got LDJ here in Neaston. So I want to talk about two, and they're both related to Gemma. So And I'll lump them together, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And yeah, obviously you're super smart, and you can chime in as well. However, you're frozen, so I'm a little worried that you're not here anymore. News item number one. So NVIDIA released an NVFP4 Gemma 4 26B MOE checkpoint, which is interesting. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then the second related news story is that Google released a multi-token prediction, or MTP, Gemma 4 variant. And so I'll read a little bit about that. And I want to hear what you guys think of these things. So on the MTP Gemma 4, Google released it on May 5th. And it's a serving layer story. So local AI is bottlenecked by throughput, and MTP drafters can change inference economics. So I'm curious, like, how this actually works. LDJ, have you looked into this and what's actually happening? Go for it.
Yes, I've looked very much into this. It has an interesting history where it was like back in 2024, Meta dropped a multi-token prediction paper, and it seemed like from that was a lot of the we then saw shortly after DeepSeek V3 and R1 credit Meta and end up using multi-token prediction in their architecture. I think they even used it on the training level too. And it's been one of those things where it's kind of suspected that Frontier Labs might already be incorporating this in Frontier models too, because it's kind of like one of those easy efficiency gains that doesn't seem to really compromise much.
Can you explain like how it works at a very simple level?
Sure. I mean, at a very simple level, it's kind of, I mean, multi-token prediction, you're quite literally, especially if you incorporate it at the training level, instead of trying to predict just the next token, you have the model predict multiple next tokens. And it's relatively minor architectural changes that you actually do to do this. You can, I believe it's been shown you can even have this applied to models that were not trained natively in this way, but basically with some minor attachments modifications, you can make it support a multi-token prediction, especially if you just do some extra training with that modification after. And yeah, so you predict multiple next tokens, and not only does it seem to not really degrade capabilities much, but I believe in Meta's paper they even showed that it improves at least coding capabilities by some significant amount.
Huh.
Go ahead. It's the same as it's around the same lines as if you've heard of speculative decoding, where you use a tiny model and you basically birth it together with a big model, and the tiny model keeps trying to stay 4 or 5 tokens ahead. And then if that token is accepted by the output weight of the big model, then that gets through. And this can give crazy improvements, probabilistic improvements in the speed, like multiple times. You can get really? 2-3 times more speed this way, because you do know that the tiny model is going to often guess wrong, but there's always like a 20%, 30% chance it might get it right. And then you play on that probability with the fact that now the tiny model can run 20 times faster. So that's how you get those improvements. And if you're going to run this at scale, this is crucial. If you're running inference at scale, you have to do this.
And is this only important for smaller models, or is this somehow applicable to large too?
The biggest one,
the larger models, yeah. So I believe DeepSeek V3 and R1, the full size versions of both, they had multi-token prediction natively.
So yeah, now they come with this natively. So before you had to take Kimi, and maybe you would train something very, very small to pair with Kimi, and then you would get like 2x or something speed improvements. But what they've done now in this announcement with NVFP4 is that this was very annoying to actually set up, and it would take days for you to fiddle around with all the settings until you kind of just dialed it in just right. And now that it comes out of the box and it runs in 4 bits out of the box, is you don't have to suffer through all of that anymore to get the 2-3x speed improvement. And that compounds at scale as well, because then as you're caching stuff, again, for a lot of people like enterprises and stuff, the way that they use the small models is for large scale data processing. because
Got it.
you can't afford to pay an API for that. You have to cache stuff and you have to
Right.
run it on your own GPUs, because you can get 10,000 tokens or 20,000 tokens per second bashed output out of just a few B200s or B300s versus you paying an API. It is hundreds of, maybe over 1,000x cheaper to do it this way. So all of these tricks, they stack up, and now they're starting to come with them instead of waiting for like an aftermarket
Right.
aftermarket add-on too.
So I think it's important you're pointing out that this is especially valuable for custom data processing jobs or large scale jobs where the company is like, listen, yeah, we're not gonna pay API costs, or even can we afford them?
Yep.
So makes
Also,
sense.
people running it on their Mac Studios at home makes a big difference versus you getting 10 tokens per second or 12 tokens per second versus getting 40. That's
a big deal.
That too. Yeah. So this applies to everyone across the board. Yeah, we just got the 2 to 4x speed improvement. No big deal. We're just going to eat it because the agents need. Yeah.
Yam, you're back. Welcome. Are you surviving?
Back. I'm so back. Yeah.
He time traveled
Special
already.
special show today. It's a ripoff of ThursdAI. It's nearly ThursdAI, but not really. It's just the co-host. Okay. Anyway, same content, by the way. The content is still curated. Well, okay. It's just the host.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying our best. Anyway,
Love it.
All right. So we still in open source.
We're sort of bouncing around. I picked a couple stories from open source that I thought were interesting, particularly to have LDJ.
Let me just if we're leaving big core, I think we can have a small section about how good GPT 5.5 do you think? How good do you think it is? Like in your opinion, just vibes on 5.5, latest frontier models.
Yeah. So I'm using 5.5 exclusively across the board now. So not only have I switched my engineering model to it, because in Devon you can choose, I want to use 5.5, and I do. I love it. It just seems so smart. And then I've actually shipped the production customer facing model in Untangle, which is our startup, to be GPT 5.5. And I found there was one actually frustrating thing that was going on with tool calling. There's some weird gotchas where Opus seemed more robust with failure recovery on tool calls. So I had to do some massaging. Like literally, GPT 5.5 would not allow structured output certain fields to be blank. They have to be null. So there's some weird things that I had to figure out.
Okay.
But I'm 5.5 across the board. 100%.
What do you guys think? Let's be fair. If you have tried also Opus 4.7, your opinion on 4.7 as well. So just Nistan, you got any? What are you using?
Yeah, for religious and cultural reasons, I do not use ChatGPT. So that is
okay.
Yeah, I did find Codex was better at the math stuff, and particularly better at fixing deeper bugs. And it's been like that since 5.3.
The agent that you
the agent. I used it through Replit. I tried it through Replit. By the way, I think Replit is like the best harness that no one talks about.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah. They have. I think they do have like some of the best, most technical DevOps that there are. They use NixOS. It reverts back.
Listen, you got 30 seconds to convince us, because it's a very interesting topic, but like only 30 seconds because we have so much to cover and we're already past the half time, and Alex is doing it way better than us. So you really need to.
I still use Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.7. Those are still my daily drivers. I do use Kimi that I serve in production to people, because the entire harness is built around Kimi 2.5, and all of the 3D visual stuff and moving. It didn't even work with 2.6, so I'm just I've invested a lot of time in that harness. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't use GPT 4.5, but LDJ uses it.
All right, LDJ, your take. Let's make it quick. What do you think?
Yes, I do use it. I've been using it especially since 5.5 released. And yes, GPT 5.5 Pro especially I think has been really great for just kind of brainstorm and plan like the initial layout of like a new project that I might want to start before I actually kind of go into Codex, because as you guys might know, Pro is not available actually within Codex. But I'll use Pro for that. And then just the speed at which 5.5 goes in Codex, even before I turn the fast mode on, it really changes the experience when you have that tighter feedback loop. And when you're able to
Mhm.
iterate with the model much faster, I feel like back with 5.4, it would take so much longer for a similar quality or even worse quality output. And that
Wait,
kind
that's
of would,
interesting.
yeah.
Are you turning off the thinking? Because that's a thing today. Turning off the thinking as well. Are you doing it or
Uh,
not?
Sometimes I'll drop down to like medium, but I won't fully go to like the lower or instant thinking. However, GPT 5.5 Instant had just recently come out, and that's something I want to experiment with more because that might have some really interesting kind of like anti-overthinking abilities, if you get what I mean.
You can run it in Codex, by the way. If you, but it's not on the menu. You can just say like upfront, thinking none. You don't have this option on the menu, but it just works. And you have people have been talking about this on X, just to turn off thinking, and it's just becoming like an F16, like extremely fast. And
Nice.
man, it's a really good model on its own. Yeah, just my take is, yeah, I'm GPT 5.5 built to the max, like, and I'm really like X high thinking a lot, and I'm paying a lot, and I'm absolutely happy to pay a lot. That's a really good model, in my opinion. It just gets stuff done. It does have its own quirks. I'm just saying, but we don't have a lot of time to cover.
They run that.
Instant quick take. Just
They run
few
that through
minutes
the
more.
Cerebrus inference, right? The Spark version.
The
Yeah,
Spark
Version.
version, yes.
Mhm.
I recommend people try and build the loops and stuff. Get the iterations going. Ralph does not need to be this smart or think. It's already more smarter than it's ever been without thinking. So yeah, get those loops going. Take advantage of the Cerebrus inference. Turn the thinking off. I even forced thinking off after 512 tokens.
Mr. Cerebrus is only 5.3. But
Okay, but there's
That's
something
saying.
that they're running that they're making it go a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay, what you're
Okay,
saying, what you're
correct.
talking about is the fast version. I don't think it's as fast as Spark, which is even more.
Okay, all
But
right.
put that aside, absolutely, it just costs more. All the fast build. But we must move on. We have a lot to cover. So our next story is that we have a. Okay, we have. We can talk about DeepSeek, and
Go for it.
It's been too big that you couldn't find GPUs to run it, and I think this is why it didn't get that popular. When it was around 700 billion parameters, a lot of people could run it. You could rent 8 GPUs and run it on your own, and now you can't. You can't find B300s anywhere anymore. So this is kind of why it died down a little bit, a bit.
Well, also, I feel like it's less impressive of a jump compared to when DeepSeek V3 and R1 came out, and the gap that those had between the next best open source model was pretty large. And then DeepSeek V4 releasing, I think it's really debatable as to whether it really is even the best open source model at the time of release. And in a lot of ways, I mean, it just, at least in some aspects and certain benchmarks, it's clearly worse than others like Kimi and maybe like GLM, the latest GLMs and things like that. But what I think is most impressive here and most unique about DeepSeek V4 at least is the context efficiency in terms of the memory utilization that it requires with that increasing context. Like it actually allows you to have, at least if you're running it locally or in whatever situation, if you're running 1 million context length, you're able to do that while using way less memory and having much more flops efficiency than if you were to try to do that with most other models.
All right, all right. Listen, go on, Quen. I'll get you the link. One moment.
Yeah, I'll read it quickly from our notes. So Quen released some they're called QuenScope sparse autoencoders. So basically, it's the full model that you download on Hugging Face, like Quen, Quen 27B, one of the most popular ones for local inference right now. And what the sparse autoencoders do is you can kind of tell and steer in between the weights on what subject is talking about. Now, this can be pretty cool if you want to give it a personality. If anybody remembers way back when Anthropic did the Golden Gate bridge experiment.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So this is research on that end for how you can do this yourself between multiple subjects. I think the reason that they spent a lot on this is because they also do have to do some very sensitive political filtering in what their model says and doesn't say, as they're a lab from China. So this would allow them to like dial it in exactly. At the same time, this also helps people that are decensoring the models quite a bit, because now you can start to tell where it's going on. Again, what the weights do is computationally irreducible. It's like Stephen Wolfram's computational irreducibility principle. You're not going to be able to tell what they're doing. Like, you don't know. There's just too much compression there that it's mathematically impossible for you to walk back. But this is a step in us kind of being able to tell which megabytes in the model are kind of pushing it this way or getting it to talk this way, and also letting you play around with that a little bit. It's just kind of like doing random lobotomy on the model and just being like, oh, it forgot to do this, or now it's autistic, or yeah. So it is pretty cool that they released this. I think we should have a paper reading space after for it, because this is a whole like multi-hour talk.
Right.
Interpretability, but yeah, that's.
How great are those illustrations? There's a bear and a ghost bear.
Stuff wasn't lagging, so I could tell you a little bit more about the method, how it works, and why do you need so many.
You're good. Yeah.
Yes, so many weights here, but you have the full package. I just want to say here it is. Basically, the way it works is that you have a small set of weights that are in charge of explaining how the weights of the model works, and you just compile them together and train them in a very specific way to explain the way the model works and extract meaningful features that you can then push into making the model believe it's a bridge, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's one tiny, because it's so hard to tell this where it's going on, and people were doing like statistics and stuff before. So now they just build like another smaller neural net to be able to kind of map that out.
That's clever. That's clever because it's actually explainable, and
yeah,
that's pretty.
LDJ, see your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's also before this Gemma scope, if you guys remember, or I think it was called Gemma scope or Gemma something scope. And I think this is maybe, at least the name seems inspired from that maybe, but the Gemini team or Gemma team released something similar that allows you to do this with the Gemma models. And yeah, I think this is hopefully going to be a recurring and increasingly popular thing for labs to do. Maybe, who knows, maybe OpenAI will release this with their next open model if they do ever release another open LLM.
We'll see. Who knows? Yam, if it's cool, let's move on to Agentic, and I'll grab one of those stories. So, as you all know, we're trying to cover a number of categories today. We already covered big company LLMs and APIs, did a light sprinkling of open source AI. So, moving on to agentic, all the stuff going on. And I want to talk about Cursor. So, Cursor shipped their security review and full enterprise controls in 1 week. So, apparently, Cursor just gave every enterprise CTO what they really wanted, what they really needed in order to say yes to Cursor. Couple things about it. So, security reviewer and vulnerability scanner agents are included. There's an MCP plugin support for existing SAST and SCA tools, and it consumes from existing pool usage. And then a couple more things. There's a model block list and allow list, soft spend limits, and then audit trails. So it seems like security agents are starting to share like the same pool as developer agents. And so I'm trying to figure out like where are we going with security reviews? Like I feel like every agent harness now has kind of a security review tool. I know Devin, which I use, has this out of the box. I'm curious, what is everybody doing as far as their dedicated security reviews on the PRs that they're shipping with agents? So, Yam, do you have a kind of security review out of the box that you use, or are you sort of winging it?
I just got you the blog up. Yeah, computers never work, guys. Anyway, security is an issue. I mean, it really depends on the actual use case. I think what we are talking about here is the internal use of Cursor within the 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 actual institute. I'm just reading it. Yeah. Okay. So basically,
go ahead.
it's look. It is an issue because I mean it is an issue, and how do you actually do a review when you have an agent doing whatever it wants? You know, that's a question. Seriously, that's a question. And
so for you, I have the question. So when you ship a PR and it's been mostly wrote by an agent, do you have a separate loop that's doing security review? And I'm going to ask the same question to everybody.
Look, of course, if you have some critical code and you do probably, I think everyone has some external loops that check all sorts of things like code review, security, and it's not because you trust the agent to do all of these on its own. We more like to take loads of the actual human that is going to review it 5 minutes later. So you want to catch the big things first, and you can catch them. You catch a lot, but at the end of the day, you have a human, and the way at least we work is that's the responsibility of whoever pushed the thing. You can use whatever agent that you want to produce whatever code that you want, but at the end of the day, it's you pushing it, and it's your responsibility. And if you ship something with security flaws, yeah, in the level of the organization, absolutely, there are security measures and there are procedures to how to do things and guidelines. But at the end of the day, you need to take responsibility, at least in some sort, on the things that you ship. And it is a problem. I absolutely agree, because the volumes are not
not going down. Yeah,
yeah.
They're only going up. Nistan, what do you do for your security reviews?
Multiple ones. 4.6 is still the best one that does not refuse. 4.7 is better. I do find it better for security. It's just very annoying how often it refuses to do stuff, like the latest major Linux bug, which with 700 bytes, you could just hack you could get root on any Linux system. 4.7 did eventually give the best advice. It just took a while for it to do. But yeah, I really recommend people just go on Cloud Code, just tell it, hey, do a deep security review, look at all the packages, check for CVEs, critical vulnerability exploits, and it does actually do a very good job for that. Like, it goes online, checks all your npm and pip, and often it will tell you what you need to update, what you need to remove. And I highly recommend people to just remove as many packages as possible. That's
good call. LDJ, what's your security review protocol?
For me, I use 5.5. I'm actually kind of surprised Nissan was saying he uses Claude. But so I use 5.5, and I have kind of like a set of about, I was about to say 6, 7, but honestly, it's about 7 to 8 prompts. And about 7 or 8 prompts that I use that I'll, depending on the context of it, and depending on what type of bugs I suspect there might be, or what type of vulnerabilities might be in the type of code I'm making, I'll kind of swap those out, use different ones, and also I'll run it across different completely separate conversations sometimes, because I like to tell the model sometimes, hey, this is code made by Grok, please review it, or hey, this is code made by Claude. And I feel like sometimes that does maybe help catch an extra thing or two when I do that.
That's interesting. So my take is that these sweeps need to be just built into your SDLC. I feel like whenever a PR, is created and is ready to be reviewed, it just feels like there should be a couple of these loops. So there should be a security review loop, right? There should be a documentation drift loop. I think this should always happen before you ever merge, and they should happen pretty automatically. I don't want to be deciding whether or not a security review happens or not. It feels like it should be happening 100% of the time. So I think that's why it's good to see these security review products kind of get rolled in. It does make me wonder about the viability of startups like Reptile and CodeRabbit and things. Like, I just feel like those are going to get rolled into the agentic harness. Like, Codex is going to be doing security reviews like by default. Like, so anyways, let's keep rolling. I can probably do one more before I go.
Everything is going into the harnesses themselves. The models are trained with these harnesses. I'm not saying that you should not try, but you just need to take it into consideration. You are competing against gradient descent sometimes.
Yeah.
With that. Ryan, you want to take one, or are we gonna go through the Nemotron with Nissan?
Why don't you do Nemotron, and then everybody, I'll have to bow out.
Sure.
I have to take my kid to the doctor, so he's fine, but I gotta go. So I will bow out and let you guys finish the show.
All right. Listen, you want to take the Nemotron? Nemotron story.
Yeah. So NVIDIA released, so they have a 30B model, so about 30 gigs at 8-bit with 3 billion active parameters. So any RAM is only going to use 3 gigs active, so it's very fast. The Nemotron models have always been good on paper and kind of not that great on actual agentic workflows. I do have my criticism there. But they are non-Chinese models that are trained, and so when it comes to stuff like people got to do some legal work or things that they can't really afford the model to start responding in different languages that they asked in, these were pretty useful. So
that's Nemotron. We're talking about the Omni model, if I'm correct.
I was talking about all of them, but in this case, the Omni model, they added vision to it. So now, because up until now, if you had to like process videos at scale or process data at scale, you were kind of stuck with Quen, the 30Bs. Those were
look. You got a model that can process long audio video comprehension and do agentic computer use, and that's all of this with MOE of and 30B. That's and they release pre-made for you BF16, FP4, and FP8. That's a nice thing.
Yeah. I shout out to them on the work that they've done for the FP4 compression, because it has ended up being even more accurate than the AWQ 4-bit quantizations that we make. So the compressed models that NVIDIA makes, I think they just keep training them in 4-bit, and they do perform very well in 4-bit. So if you do have a Blackwell GPU, like if you have like a 5090, or you're using RDX 6000 or B200s, B300s, you're most likely, if you're going to run these smaller models, you're going at it for the speed and controllability and so on, and your compute is always a big constraint. So that's a much needed feature, and now they do pair that with vision as well. So a lot of those custom solutions you had to spend maybe weeks on doing before, you can just fire up NVIDIA Omni and 30B A3B on a single GPU and just start chugging through your data, or filtering data before you serve it, or just running at home. We're gonna have to wait for Wolfbench to see how good they actually are at this, because they've had issues before. But yeah, shout out to NVIDIA. They're not stopping. The ML team, as many setbacks they've had, they do catch up.
Gentlemen, it's been a joy. I've got to take my kid to the doctor, so farewell. We'll see you next week, and thanks everyone for tuning in and listening.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for hosting. Anyone that can help with today's very challenging stream.
No, good job, Alex. See ya. Bye, guys.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're gonna have a quick hot take about enterprises blocking agents. What do you guys think?
Wait, they were allowing them up until now?
Oh, I can't hear you. I can
hear him.
I say they were allowing them up to this point. Yeah,
I think Yam is having some audio issues.
Right, LDJ. Like, look, the amount of empowerment that you get from running an agent is just so huge that people were just doing it anyway, just taking the risk of losing their jobs or losing their customer data, and just running it anyway because it was getting work done. And yeah, I think it's funny to me that it took them up until this point to actually realize that people are using agents at work, because you don't provide them with that.
I know at least a good 2 or 3 pretty big companies that did indeed disallow their employees from using it, at least disallow employees from using it on internal data. But I mean, it makes sense that there's going to be some companies behind the curve and like 6 months or more late to this thing, and yeah, just kind of now adapting all their policies and rules.
All right. I'm not sure that you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Now we can.
Okay.
Everything was fine
Okay.
for us. Yeah.
Okay. So let's. You guys take this, because I can barely hear you. We got this. Have you seen this? Agents for Financial Services. From Anthropic.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, every financial analyst is using it anyway. Might as well. But what's going on here? It says we're releasing 10 ready-to-run agent templates for most time-consuming work in financial services, building pitch books, screening KYC files. What does KYC stand for?
KYC is know your customer.
Know your client.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say kill yourself, but okay. Sorry.
Great show, Nistin. Great show. Anyway,
Sorry.
It's just more to the same experience of Claude running in Claude Cowork, and I'm not sure that you guys have seen. Have you seen the Claude interface when you work in an organization? Like, what do you get? Like, you have
it's like a Claude console.
Yeah, you have like a console that you can just, and it just gives you. I mean, when you see the entire package, you start to realize how everything connects. At least for me, I start to realize how everything connects together. You have Claude code running either in a terminal in an IDE or on web, and then you have Cowork that is for your, and they show screenshots, Claude for your office and like Office 365 suite and so on, and for your email and driving your browser. And we all know about all of these features, but when you see them one after the other, everything in the same page with screenshots and demos, and they just wrote, I mean, they marketed it perfectly, saying that's Claude in your browser, Claude in your office, Claude in this, Claude driving your computer, Claude for your writing your code. You start to realize the experience, how the experience looks. And I think that's what they're aiming for here, trying to grab as much different professionals as they can here for financial services. Like, look at what they actually release here. What plugins? Closing the books at month end and screening KYC files. I mean, Claude probably could just do all of these things if you ask it to. This is just for ease of use. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do you guys think?
This is pretty important if you're gonna like filter if someone is doing fraud or something in an organization. So I'm just wondering, what do they release here? Is it just skill files, or is it? It kind of looks like they're templates. So is this in the Anthropic console? I think they might just be skill files that you use, or is there a separate UI for it? I'm not really sure.
We are about to find out. Here it is on GitHub.
Oh, they have an entire repo.
Okay.
Okay, they're cookbooks.
And we got.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, there's quite a bit in there.
Yeah, that's probably plugins. Plugins for these are really agents. Okay. So yeah, that's plugins for Cloud Code. Pretty much the way from.
Okay, so it's setups with multiple skill files that if you want to review what like a particular customer, etc., was doing, you can do that now. It looks like you can start to run.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's much needed. Every company was kind of doing this on their own, not being quite sure whether to roll it out or if it was safe and stuff. So yeah, very much needed for their enterprise customers. I mean, for us too, for people, if you do have for people, if I'm probably I'm going to look through those skill files. I see how did they do this? How did they review each person or personalized experience around?
Have you seen my post on X that I downloaded all the skills?
Yes.
But like all of them. Like all of them. Like,
yeah.
We're talking thousands, tens of thousands, more.
Oh, it's millions already. Yeah,
millions.
I stopped it at the end because I ran out of storage. But yeah, I mean, that's really useful. I'm just saying there are many really useful skills online. Not just some skills or just MD files that Claude fabricated. And, they're not that useful because you can ask Claude yourself to fabricate whatever you want. But some of them are really, really thought out.
Where did you find them? Did you just ask Claude to, hey, find all skills you can on the internet? Like
code. No. Claude would just half-ass this. I asked the real deal. I asked Codex, and Codex would never stop if you give it something like that. It would do anything it can to get you what you wanted. And if you ask for all the skills, it's gonna be all of them.
So did you end up finding a particular forum or website or marketplace of some kind in which a majority or like a large portion of these most important skills are posted on?
Look, I found multiple marketplaces that have different numbers of skills. There are many duplicates also, but I must say, and I didn't go that deep into the analysis of what comes from where. But I must say that there are many unique and very professionally written skills you can
I
find
believe
online
you.
if you really look into this. But most of them, I just say, like the vast majority of them are just, like, duplicate someone's skill somewhere, and the skill probably is just someone asking Claude to write an empty file, and it's just
Mhm.
duplicated like hundreds of different of time all over GitHub in different packages and different forms. And at the end of the day, it's probably just Claude writing an empty file, but here and there you find skills that are incredibly unique. And I created a skill to create skills out of all the skills. So basically you see a model just go there and just, agentically grabbing multiples of them, just mushing them together into a single one. And these skills are extremely powerful. When I'll have time, I'll try to maybe rug them all. We are approaching the end of the show, and we still have some items to cover. So we're gonna do it quickly. An interesting one is this data set on Hugging Face coming to us from Microsoft Synthetic Computers at Scale. Right here, we have basically, one moment. Okay. Computer environments, long scale computer environments for, as I think it is, computer use. If I'm not wrong.
Did they have 98 billion pairs of data on this? I'm just wondering, how big is this data set?
Just a little reminder, by the way, there is breaking news, but we could finish this segment, but
Wait, I want to press the button.
Oh, do you
Where
have the button?
Oh,
Yeah,
I have the
we can
button.
move on from this. This is cool. Thank you, Microsoft, for
Releasing
yeah.
this. Yeah, let's.
This
What are
is
the
like,
breaking news? Give me the link.
It's breaking news brought to us by Alex in our group chat. Here, I will post inside chat here. It's Real Time V2 by OpenAI.
No way.
oh, okay.
Okay, one moment.
Are you looking for the breaking news transition?
No, I'm trying to show you the button, but I can press the breaking news. One moment. Look.
AI breaking news coming at you only on ThursdAI.
All right, let's go. It's a ThursdAI.
Let's go.
Yeah, we did it right, guys. Breaking news. OpenAI introducing GPT Real-Time 2, which is an updated version for advanced voice mode. Thank you so much. I just want to say that they didn't
This is
do
a
anything
long
stupid.
time coming.
Yeah. Finally.
Let's watch the video. Might as well.
All right. That's a
Oh,
good
actually,
idea.
it's 4 minutes.
Okay, let's.
Oh, this is a blog post.
I'm not sure.
I mean, if you guys want to watch the video.
Let's try.
Can.
Oh, the audio. We can't hear the audio through the stream. It's like very, like, it sounds like
okay.
Yeah.
we can only hear it through your mic, it sounds like, but not through the actual direct audio.
It's okay. We can read through the post.
Okay, let's just look at the post.
Here, I'll put the post
right
here. Yep.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right. So basically the new real-time voice, as it seems. Introducing 3 audio models in the API that unlock new class of voice apps for developers. Great. With these models, developers can build voice experience that feel more natural, respond more intelligently, and take actions in real time. That's a really long time coming, as you said, long time coming.
Was this running on GPT-4 up until now? Or
I think
people that use voice mode?
it was apparently using 4.0 up until now, or at least like improved versions of the 4.0 voice, something like that.
It was definitely noticeable that it was much less capable than it used to be, than the other models that you use. Like, you can talk to a model and gonna give you really good answers. Then you just click the advanced voice to start talking through voice about the context, and you immediately feel something is off. Immediately, like it just misses the point each and every single time.
Oh, they
So
also announced a new Whisper model here. Here,
and
GPT real-time Whisper, a new streaming speech-to-text. Oh no, scroll up. You passed it.
no, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right there.
That's huge.
A new streaming speech-to-text that transcribes speech live as the speaker talks. GPT real-time Whisper. Interesting. I guess it's
wish
down to
we could
benchmarks.
hear that. I wish we could hear that because that sounds really cool to demo. Okay,
Wait,
wait. Let's try. So
they have
Can
not
I-
released an actual model though. I'm looking through.
hey, do you can you hear me?
We can only hear you.
No, I'm asking the model, not you. That's okay. I'm really stupid. It answers with voice, and the voice is turned off because you can't hear it well. Want to try? No, let's just leave it like that. So
Okay, they had to get to it eventually because everybody else was building their own solutions. Actually, NVIDIA did have some of the better ones. Like Parakeet had a tiny model that showed. So this is how people do voice interfaces. They would use a tiny model that would show the text coming up on the screen. But then there was also a bigger model, like a Whisper or a bigger Parakeet, running in the background and just like replacing the text up until that point. And this is kind of how you build the real-time interfaces. And it always felt quite suboptimal and very unwieldy to use. But now that they do I think they finally just have, they just have one model here, just doing it in real time. And
yeah, the thing is that you can always transcribe and then go text to speech on the other side, and you get the illusion of talking with voice. Something happens and you get back voice, but there is a lot of delay in that because you are trying to stitch together 3 different models to do that, and everyone wants a model that is real time, like a single experience end-to-end voice. That's something that we were all looking for, and advanced voice mode was, I mean, it's pretty old at this point. It's more than a year, old, way more than a year old when you think about this. And everyone was looking for a better model to replace it, because there are no other solutions for good real-time voice. OpenAI had the best user experience in terms of product, like end-to-end just product, something that you download and it just works for real-time voice. And we are now getting a new version. So basically, according to the blog of OpenAI, you have 3 different versions to build voice agents through the OpenAI infrastructure. You got voice to action, which is pretty cool. You speak voice and it goes to do stuff for you. That's pretty cool. I want to see how you use that. And you have stuff happening in your system directly streamed to be spoken to you. And of course, voice to voice. That's what I was talking about. This is a really interesting structure, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is like you have triggers on your operating system to just talk to you. That sounds like kind of OpenClaw-ish.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, and also on your note about it being over a year since GPT-4o, I just checked, and in 6 days from now, it will be the exact 2-year anniversary of GPT-4o.
Oh man, time flies.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I wish I could. I wish we were prepared with.
There's a couple
streaming voice to
benchmarks
you,
on this
but-
page.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry,
Let's
talking over.
scroll. Sure. Yeah, let's scroll to the benchmarks, and what are we looking at here? At Big Bench Audio. You familiar with this benchmark? Where is Wolfram?
Yeah.
Benchmark.
So Big Bench is I don't know if you guys remember Big Bench, but like I think
The
it was
older one.
around the time MMLU came out, or might have even been a bit before MMLU released. But it basically aggregates a lot of the popular benchmarks from kind of the GPT-2, GPT-3 era. And Big Bench Audio, if I remember right, is basically the audio version of Big Bench, where I think they quite literally basically test the model's ability to say to hear the question in audio form and then to answer the question correctly in audio form. And so imagine like a lot of MMLU like questions, but it's literally instead of in text form, the question is in audio form. It's like actually speaking out the question, and then the model has to say back the answer. That makes sense. So
Okay.
hopefully that kind of
Yeah,
makes sense.
sure. I'm just trying to understand without voice how the voice models work.
Oh, Pedro
But
Pascal. No, I'm kidding. He kind of looks like him, but
for a moment I was like, oh, wait. Anyway, probably what we're looking at here is computer use with voice. Great release by OpenAI. We've all been waiting for this for a while. So it's glad that we finally got this. We still got some items we should cover, and I think we are going past the showtime. And so let's just do a quick round of the important news that we still need to cover. And okay, speaking of voices, we have Grok custom voice. No joking. On the same week, we got this custom
no, so
voices.
I guess Annie is going to start to talk like a man now. Voice library,
Man,
your
Annie,
voice,
you're
brand.
speaking to Annie. You're speaking to Annie a lot.
No, it's really bad. It's just not good.
Let's leave the. We talked. We had our own opinions about the XAI. I think way too much in this episode. So let's leave that aside. Anyway, we got custom voices and voice library from XAI. Basically, voice cloning, if I understand correctly. Let's do it quick. We have more points we need to cover. And we got real-time conversation agents from runway characters right here. I wish we could demo all of these for you because they look kind of look quite cool. Runway are known to be really good in voice and mainly in video, by the way, with their multiple times, I think, holding the state of the art in video generation back in the day. I'm not sure about the current state, but they definitely know what they're doing. And we have a very nice demo for you to play with, generating characters that say pretty much what you want. Runway characters. So let's just see.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we can't hear it.
I know.
Wait, are these avatars now where it talks like that in real time? Or are these video avatars or just... Oh, they are video avatars. It's Runway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of huge.
Yeah. That's we just don't have time to cover everything. But
Okay.
that's a really major release.
Okay,
we
good job on Runway on this.
We definitely should have been able to run this and hear it for everyone. But let's just move on. I wish I could show you the TechCrunch, the Oscars shenanigan, but
they look very good. Like the way the cat is moving and stuff. It's not like the you know how you had one X, or what was it called, the
Yeah,
one
look,
AI? Like, this is looking a lot more video game like to me. Very nice. Okay.
it's real time. That's, I think, the major thing to understand here. It's real
Yeah,
time
too.
video and audio generation, and it's pretty cool. Real time to do this in real time, and yeah, that they absolutely look good.
Should we run through the rest of
Just
them?
yeah, I'm just gonna drop you the Spotify is okay, nearly. Wait, okay, Spotify is verified. Is dropping a verified badge to know that you are not an AI. I've seen Claude press that I'm not a robot casually so many times already. So,
Well, it's
okay.
probably some ID verification, right?
Yeah, but okay. I hear you. I
But
hear
you
you.
can give Grok your ID, right?
Yeah, you can just have it. Look, you can be a human and just generate it with AI and post it on your behalf.
Guys,
So,
Yeah.
we figured this stuff out 50 years ago when PGP and the stuff was invented, and public key
True.
cryptography. I think we're just gonna go back to what we invented half a century ago, where you have your public key and your signing keys. Or this is how Estonian ID cards work, by the way, because
listen, we are gonna go back so far that we're gonna end up going outside and
Yeah.
licking each other and
Holy.
talking to each other face to face because the AIs took the internet away. That's pretty much where it's going at this point. People are
yeah, but
just gonna go talk to each other.
I do think the problem is not as hard as people are making it. The tech has been there for 50 years, and Estonia had a prime minister at one point that was a computer science educated degree holder, and he set up all the ID cards to just be basic PGP, where you had your public and private keys, and you could sign your stuff. And I really don't like how they're trying to re-implement all of this recently, because it's just like you're doing it in the worst way possible, where you enable new attack vectors for people's ID
Listen,
databases.
speaking of cybersecurity, what do you think about this? Have you seen this?
I'm not surprised. It's all llama, dude. Sorry, it's just
All right.
yeah.
So
Any
memory
npm
leak.
package is going to have. It's an npm package. It's going to have, fork in the kitchen. All right, it's going to have a memory leak. This I'm not surprised at all. Does this get hacked, or does it just crash the computer? Oh,
Look,
9.1 critical. Okay, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, critical. Basically, if you serve this, if you use this to serve your model, you can get a surprise, a prompt that contains a surprise, and you will be vulnerable. That's wild when you think about it. It's caught. Just renew the news. We also we also have a very nice benchmark that we should present. Program bench, the benchmark that every single model got a 0 on.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Can we look at what their actual questions and stuff are? Did you guys look more into this? This is very.
At each task, agents receive an executable and its documentation, and it must re-implement the given executable. Okay. It cannot decompile. It cannot use the internet. There are 200 tasks. And okay, so you basically start from terminal utilities like JQ and ripgrep. And then they also asked them to implement the PHP compiler and FFmpeg and SQLite, which is pretty crazy to implement on your own. But it's an interesting benchmark, because I thought models can implement things like JQ?
This is going to get pretty freaky, I think, as models are trained to do this benchmark, because it can take any compiled binary that you've done and try to guess the whole code base out of it. This is what this means. So all software is going to become open source, guys. This is what this means.
Oh, that's very interesting. Look, you can see, I think, how far they got, if I understand correctly. Like and at the end of the day, all models could not complete the entire thing. But like you get points for how far you've gone, I think.
Yeah, and the fact that there's like all these pretty granular percentage ranges in which you can get almost the task correct, but not, it makes me think that's probably like the determination of whether it got it right or not is probably based on some pretty specific criteria of a bunch of things that the model has to follow in its final response and in its final program in order to actually get it. So I think this is probably a really good like instruction following benchmark too.
I must say that I'm surprised that it's so hard, because as we saw before, one of the things that the models need to complete is this, like lazy git. That looks like a pretty reasonable TUI. I mean, it's a project. It's definitely not easy. But I don't know, if you run Ralph like a bajillion times with GPT-5.5, it shouldn't do that. It's pretty wild.
It's pretty hard because the executables are already precompiled. They're
You
binaries
need to
at this point.
understand by playing with the executables.
Yeah.
Okay, I get why it's hard. I get why it's hard. You really need a very good planning harness to do this.
Yeah, models will be able to do this. They'll be able to, because you basically have to train.
Next week or something. You're gonna get a new model that can do it. But yeah.
Yeah, it will take some time. So you have to train it to, hey, I have this entire code base and stuff, and I have this executable. How do you even do reinforcement learning on that, where it works backwards until it finds the entire code base just from the small tiny executable file? But that's pretty hard to do. They can do it in like smaller. I think there was something about it being able to guess some assembly code or something. So yeah, this will take a while, but it just means that the whole software will become open source once they get good at this benchmark. Pretty cool. I love it. We got a 0% benchmark.
All right. We have some small items but we are really out of time, and I think
we could rapid fire through them. Just go through the list and just say one comment each, and I guess we can wrap up. So I can go through some of them.
Wait. I think we have one that we really should go through, and it is this one.
What is
that?
this?
That one, yeah, that one we should say a word about. LDJ, want to take it?
Sure, yeah, so this is Zaya 1 8B, a model released by this company called Zifra, which is an American San Francisco-based company publishing a lot of cool open source research and small models. And they have a lot of interesting kind of small architectural efficiencies and tweaks added here. Kind of gives me a lot of DeepSeek vibes here. But here they release a 8 billion parameter MOE. It has, I think they said, about 0.7 or 0.8 billion, so 700 million or 800 million active parameters. And it seems to be competing even with MOEs multiple times their size released by some similar Chinese companies like Quen.
Mm-hmm.
And here they have a specific test time compute method they've implemented called Markovian RSA. And this is a type of kind of recurring parallel test time compute method. If you just look at the abstract, I think they briefly mention it at the very top in the abstract.
Well, but they have a lot of details.
Yeah,
right.
when you look at the capabilities with that included, then you end up especially overcoming these other models that are even multiple times their size and active parameters. Yam, go all the way to the top of the paper, and
I'm
all the way to
looking
the
for
top.
a chart. All the way to
Oh,
the top.
for a chart? Okay, yeah. For a chart, go to like a page 1 or 2. There's a chart with it.
Which one?
Page 2. Just go.
Just page 2. No,
Yeah, right
I was
here.
looking
There
for
we
a
go.
chart that explains the methods, as we can talk about it.
Oh, I
But
think there
yeah,
might
I
not
mean,
be a chart that explains that method, but here you can see in this chart, they include the capability boost that Markovian RSA gives. So if you look all the way to the left bar, and you see that that orange for Zaya 18B, and then that extra shaded region above it is the capability boost given to it in the benchmark by Markovian RSA.
how does it work?
So
That
they
model was
call it,
all over Twitter, but I haven't looked into it.
yeah, so scroll up in the abstract, so the first page. And here, if you see here, they say we also introduced Markovian RSA. A little bit down, a little bit down, right here, right up.
Oh,
Yeah.
we also introduced Markovian RSA, a space-time compute method that recursively aggregate parallel reasoning traces while carrying raw. I think we've all seen this, or at least heard a rumor about this. Something
Well, yeah. So there's like
similar.
the
Yeah.
like looping language model, or like recursive. Sorry, not looping.
Our
What prime intellect?
recursive.
What prime intellect has talked about? I think they call it just, I don't know, recursive reasoning models or recursive language models. But yeah, like really focusing on compaction, but in this case, doing parallel reasoning. So deploying multiple copies or a batch of the model at once. I think maybe doing either different reasoning about different aspects of a question, or just even doing the exact same query and trying to solve it in many different parallel runs. And then having compacted versions of that to be then passed on to another set of passes, and it probably describes it in more detail in some part of the paper. But essentially, they say that they can have like millions of context long worth of reasoning to end up solving some of these problems and beating out much larger models while doing so.
Okay, I think we have a chart explaining the situation.
There we
Let's
go.
see.
Okay, here.
Okay, so
So these are
okay,
multiple
so
different reasoning traces all happening at the same time. Like I was mentioning earlier. So all the way at the
yeah.
left of the chart here. And then extract tail, which I think is mainly just alluding to getting the most important information from the ending part of each of these reasoning traces. And then taking those most important ending parts of those reasoning traces and then moving it over to this aggregation prompt step. And so you
And
take
you
a
extract a
question.
new trail.
Yeah, and so then that takes a question plus the various compacted traces essentially, and then that goes in and does another step of parallel test time compute with a bunch of different reasoning traces, and does this repeatedly. I think there's some more specifics needed to see how this really looks like on specific questions, but I guess this is the best kind of general explanation they can give here.
All right. I mean, that paper did some noise. I've seen it all around.
This might be a bigger deal than people think, because it's been rumored for a while that these parallel inference tricks is what enabled the sonnet jump. So this is worth a paper reading. We should do a paper reading. It's been so long.
Well,
Afterwards.
also models like the Pro series of models from OpenAI, as well as Gemini DeepThink. These have both been, actually, it's been explicitly said by both OpenAI and DeepMind that they're using parallel test time compute in those methods. Now, exactly how are they doing test time compute? Sorry, exactly how are they deploying that parallel test time compute is unknown. But parallel test time compute is just kind of another way of saying you're running like multiple reasoning traces at once. So it's at least doing that aspect, it seems.
All right. Obviously, we're not going to speculate, but it's you can find the speculation on our timelines if you are really interested in that. a lot of that if you're interested. Conspiracy theories. Um,
I mean, if
I
you want to go
think
to
we
page 1 real quick again, just
okay.
to show the
Just
actual benchmarks.
one last take, and then we
Yeah.
need to wrap up the show because we are out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so page 1.
Or wherever, I guess page 2 where the actual benchmarks are.
Page
Here.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So those are the benchmarks that mainly matter here. They are using a little bit of outdated models like Qwen 3 Thinking and DeepSeek Feed 3.2 instead of like Qwen 3.6. But still, yeah, this is
Bro, this is
competitive
8
with those. Yeah, and
that's yeah.
it's only 700 million active parameters.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and these AI Me 25, that's a very hard benchmark to trick. That's very impressive. Seriously. Okay, we need to read about that because
Yeah. This is really
there
worth
is
looking into.
a lot of interesting things.
This is a
about
huge trick here that they've run across. Yeah.
I wish we could just deep dive into that for long, but we are running over time.
Yeah. We should do
for about-
some just rapid fire, go through the rest of the news, and we just give a
Okay.
like.
You wanna go? You wanna go through them?
Yeah. If you want to just pull up the doc and okay, so Etsy
Alright, so-
launched its app inside ChatGPT, so now you can do your shopping inside ChatGPT. This is pretty big. I think this is pretty big news, as most people are. They are using an agent, even if you use Claude.ai, or all the user interfaces now are agentic. Like they are doing stuff in the background. I think Claude.ai just runs the codex. So now you can do your shopping inside ChatGPT, and there's an agent economy coming up where like they are spending money on buying stuff.
You're gonna give Dangerously Skip permission and give them your credit card and hope for the best, pretty much.
Yeah. We had a Twitter space, which was a very nice discussion on this and how to optimize websites for agents to buy from you. So that was very cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
We had another news. Goodfire launched an LLM interpretability debugger. Mechanistic interpretability is becoming a product, not just a paper. Shows the Qwen 3 demo shows a single neuron flipping outputs in moral dilemma training. It's more of the same. It's the way for you to kind of tell the direction of how the model is doing. I don't know if they're using an SAE or not. So more news. The UK AISI cyber evals. They find so this is an institute which I think had like 300 million pounds or something, or like a large amount in funding. So I'm glad they're coming up with some type of work out of that. So again, a multi-$100 million benchmark here, guys. It finds that GPT 5.5 average success on expert level cyber tasks is 71.4%, and Claude Mythos was 68%. So it's just finding GPT 5.5 close to Claude Mythos.
I wish I could have an opinion, but I could never test Claude Mythos. I do have an opinion on GPT 5.5 because I can test it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some opinion too on that. Let's just move on as we're at the 2.5 hour mark.
Any other point that we missed? I think we got everything.
There's Jack Clark announces automated AI research is close. They're doing AI R&D.
That's like somebody making a prediction, though. I feel like that's not. Really
okay.
News.
All right. Weak supervision turns sandbagging into a training problem. Removing sandbags in LLMs by training with weak supervision. I don't know what sandbags are in this case. I really don't like so many acronyms.
Sandbagging is just like the model's pretending to not be very capable in benchmarks.
Okay, interesting. There's a paper on that. SFT on the supervised fine tuning on weak demonstration can break sandbagging behavior, after which RL fully elicits. Okay, so the model didn't pretend to be dumb and became smart. Okay, there's no surprises there. Physician bench. Oh, I missed this. Clinical agents fail in real EHR workflows. That's because EHR, electronic health record software. That's also because someone that worked on EHR AI before ChatGPT came out, that's pretty bad software. Stanford put 12 frontier agents inside a real EHR, asked them to do physician work. The best one passed less than half the tasks. So they had long horizon tasks. They had to be FHIR. FHIR is like the safety firewall stuff on how you run medical things, how you run medical APIs. Tasks average 27 tool calls. GPT 5.5 passed at 46.3%. Opus 4.6 passes 31.7%. Again, this is nice.
5.5 is incredible for this, like for shitty interface. It's incredible, seriously.
Yeah. And to add to that point, I think a lot of these benchmarks are useful to compare the models in between each other, but you can always just improve the benchmark and get like a massive improvement in the cost. It's not like so much of a, I don't like that they come to deterministic conclusions that these are bad, because you could just have someone make a better harness for it. We went through, okay, so that was that.
When you go through, we need to wrap up the show, man.
Yeah, and that's about it, really. Luma opened the Uni API, so Luma creates 2K resolution images for 9 cents an image. They had a pretty good. The Oscars had AI-generated actors, and the scripts that they tried to do were ineligible. I think for that you need to train the model, and yeah, I think we went through everything pretty much. Oh, Huawei chip sales surge as NVIDIA stalls in China. So Huawei was making up until last year like 900,000, I think, of their Ascend accelerators. So their sales are surging domestically. I also know some other companies in Europe that were buying Huawei chips and stuff, and I think they have a big data center in Saudi Arabia as well.
I think we're just getting to a point where the top cutting edge fabrication processes are just maxed out. So everybody else, like second tier, is now getting maxed out. So you see, it's not just China and the US. I think that in the US, you also have like top, like maxing out sales for chip manufacturers of just less cutting edge processes for fabrication. That's pretty much where we're getting at because of the insane demand. That's pretty much what we're saying all around the world.
Can't get enough agentic workflows. And yeah, I think we went through almost all of that. There's like one more. White House considers vetting AI models before release. That's unfortunate now.
It's not nice, yeah.
Because again, to create a monoculture of AI where you just have some random government of usually not the most competent people you can find, that's a very nice way to put it. Yeah, you end up creating this, if you think of like a corporation or a government as its own hybrid artificial intelligence of multiple people talking to each other, even before we had electricity. Like if you thought of the organization as this hive mind, as this other like hybrid intelligence, this becomes, so now you're giving all of control to not a very good organization over that. You're creating a monoculture. Like that is the least safe thing.
Listen, we need to wrap up the show.
Yeah. All right.
And let's take
That's
it.
it. We
Let's
went through all
take
the
it in
news.
the after hours if you want. We can take it in the after hours. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. It was a very challenging show. Alex is doing an incredible job every single week doing this. It's very hard. It's much harder to do than it actually seems. Congratulations to the recently married host of the show, Alex. Woo. Getting married, and we feel up. We feel up for him, and because the show must go on, and AI never sleeps, so do we.
We're gonna see a lot lot more Etsy news coming after
Oh,
we married
yeah.
Alex.
Oh yeah. Thank you all for coming, and hope you had a great show, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. Tune, tune in.